right, welcome everyone to Tabletop Tuesday, where we talk about random geeky shit while I play some sort of game. Candid Gamera plays whatever game he's playing, and then we incorporate anybody else who wants to be in the conversation. That includes chat. Reese Puff goes, what's up? Hope you're having a good day. I'm having a great day. I want to thank Hazed Days 420 OTR for the raid. I appreciate that.
Welcome, traveler.
Hopefully you were having fun with Apex Legends. And now we have the maddest Mad Hatter, joining the tavern. Grab yourself a mug of ale, pull up a chair, have fun. Don't fireball the damn tavern.
Are we going to have like a whole collection of Mad Hatters now?
Apparently. I mean, that would be fun. We have a bunch of us just running around. At that point, I'm going to pull a Trazen. It's like, oh, you killed a Mad Hatter. Well, you didn't kill the right one.
It's always somebody's unbirthday.
Yeah, it's always someone's unbirthday. All right. You sent me on a wild goose chase. I wouldn't say wild goose chase. On a little small search on the DMG guide. And I gotta say, I like how it looks.
Yeah, I think it's different than previous DMGs. Some of the commentary that they've had on it, Hasbro has said they wanted to focus on villains and villainy. The other figures on there are Skilla and Warduke, who are also popular figures from like D&D editions past. But...
Warduke, isn't that the warrior in the front?
Warduke is the guy with kind of the closed off visor helmet with the wings.
Yeah.
Right.
And of course, our shadow guy just sets fire to the place. Damn it.
But I am super stoked to see Venger because, I was a big fan of the D&D cartoon.
Skulls for the Skull Throne! Blood for the Blood
Inquisition's here too. So in D&D news, for some of the people who don't know, actually, before we get into the news, let's get the announcements done, then get into the news. All right.
Yeah.
Announcement number one is our sponsors, that is Shockbite Gaming Servers and W Energy Drinks. The links are down below. Use the code RubyMadHatter. You get 10% off your purchase, okay? Check both of them out. They're very much worth it. I do not recommend services unless I've used them, okay? That's one of those things where, like, I've turned down so much money because, freaking Stream Element's gone, hey, you want to, earn some money with Raid Shadow Legends? And I'm like, hey, go fuck yourself. Oh, I'm good. So there is that. Second announcement is our Season 3 for Stellaris Eterna is still coming. So if you want to add a faction to it for me to throw in, by all means, fill out the form as much as you wish, and I will fill in the rest. The only other announcement is Monday, June the 3rd, I will be doing a subathon starting at 9 in the morning Eastern Time, and I'll be going to 9 at night Eastern Time. Most of the day will be myself, a guy named Timmy, and a girl named Skullick. We are going to be playing Raft. So, we're going to survive in Raft. Hopefully. Well, I mean, you can't really die in Raft. You could just get knocked out a lot. And Bruce can, Bruce the shark can eat most of your raft down to one thing, and then he'll just leave you alone.
Bruce the shark.
Yeah, Bruce is an asshole.
Yeah.
Because apparently he doesn't have anything better to do with his time than just to swim around your raft and eat chunks of it. And take bites out of your booty.
Just be glad that he's working at all.
Yeah. All right, so there is that. So D&D announcements. Let me get to the MMO page. So I have that. Yep, there we go. So they have released one of the new models in their boxes, which is the old Red Box Warrior. Now, for those of you who are old-fashioned D&D players, like myself and Gamera, we remember the Red Box. It came out way back when.
Yes, predates my involvement with D&D by a little bit, at least the original Red Box, but still in circulation at the time.
Yeah. For me, I just remember seeing it on a shelf from the person who taught me D&D.
Right.
So that was my experience with it. So there was a big red dragon on it, and then there was also a warrior who was facing the dragon. The problem is the warrior was facing away from the quote-unquote camera. So all you saw was a leg, some furs, a shield, and a horned helmet. And that's really about it.
Yep.
You could not make out who or what they were. I mean, you knew they weren't a dwarf, at least.
Like a human barbarian-ish looking character.
Yeah, it could have been a human, could have been like a really muscular elf. I mean, shit, there was plenty of possibilities that it could be. And, uh-oh, the healer is not saving... Oh, there we go. Oh, they were waiting to do freaking benediction on me, that's why. Oh, that scared the shit out of me. I almost died. Anyway, so the Red Box Warrior got made into finally a figurine and released by Hasbro. And they made it a woman. Alright? And to show people how much I do not give a shit that it is a woman, I care more about the $200 price tag of the box it comes in than I do the fact that it's a fucking woman.
Now, I do have to point out that $200 price tag will get you a lot of other miniatures too.
Yeah. It comes with 8 miniatures. It is a standard price, but I care more about the price of the box than I do the fact that it's a fucking woman.
No. Not 8 miniatures. 8 boxes of miniatures.
Oh, 8 boxes of miniatures. Okay,
yes.
And is there a miniature in every box, or how many miniatures are in each box?
I believe if they still do it the same way that they have been doing it, it's 4 miniatures per box. So you're looking at
miniatures.
32 to 40 miniatures.
Okay, so once again, I still care more about the $200 price tag, which is still fair. Like, I would say it's a fair price, but not like... How do I put it? Me caring about the price is not me saying the price is bad. It's just more like, fuck, it's $200. I don't have that.
Yeah, it's a lot of money to drop. As we were talking before stream, like they have these big, one blind box of 4 miniatures can cost you like, I don't know, $20, 20 some dollars, and that's neat. And you might be able to splurge on like 1 box every now and then. But if you want some of the rare chase figures, the ones that are like 1 per case, you have to buy a case, which is buying like 8 to 10 of the blind boxes as a unit, and that's really pricey.
Oh yeah. Umbra basically says $200 gets you miniatures and a show quality paint commission. Yeah. I'm more upset about the price though. What I'm saying is I'm more upset about the price than I am the fact that it's a woman. That is how low on my give a fuck meter the fact that it's a woman.
Yeah.
It is near bottoming out on my give a fuck meter. Actually, I would say I care more about the Custodes having women than the fact that this character is a woman. And even then, I was for the fact that the Custodes get a woman.
Yeah.
I want the Femstodes. Give me more of those. As long as we have males, Misters of Silence.
That's such a funny name.
I love it. I love it so much. I want that. Give me that, please. So I did ask Gamera before stream started how well he knows the BattleTech lore. Alright? And you said poorly.
Yeah, I know some broad strokes. I know you've got like the core government, you've got the clans, and that they fought each other over the control of space. You got different mech models that specialize in different things. And my knowledge of it isn't helped by the fact that the licensing for it has been kind of funky. Like there's certain mech models that they can't actually use anymore because it's mixed up with, like, I guess, like Robotech licenses.
Yeah.
Or some bullshit. But yeah, BattleTech and MechWarrior are just really broad strokes.
Okay. So, a little bit of a background before I get into why I'm bringing that up. Alright? because there's a special event that has occurred in the BattleTech lore this month. It started on May 1st, and it ended May 21st.
Okay.
All right? So to give you an idea, you already said you know about the clans, all right? You know that they're from outside the galaxy, as we know it.
I didn't know outside the galaxy, but yeah, outside of the core areas, sure.
Yeah. They're outside the galaxy-ish. The known galaxy, anyway.
Okay, fair.
All right. Inside the known galaxy is the inner sphere. All right. And the inner sphere is broken up of 3 groups entirely. All right. I'm not going to go into like nitty gritty. It's just more of, you need to know that there are Comstar, which is based in Earth. All right. Once again, called Terra. Congrats. Seems to be a thing.
Yeah.
Then there's the noble houses. Hey, Fox! How's it going? There's all the noble houses, and they're one faction, but they also fight amongst each other, like, all the fucking time. They cannot get along.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third faction is mercenaries.
Right.
Alright, that's as much as you need to know. The best way to describe Comstar, by the way, is they're a telecom communications company that has the galaxy's stable currency, known as C-bills.
Okay. I do remember the term C-bills vaguely.
Yep. They're the ones who basically formed a stable currency. They're the ones who maintain all of the communication lines. They're essentially space AT&T.
Okay.
All right, that's the best way to describe them. With all the downsides of space AT&T as well.
Sure.
Like
Makes
if space AT&T had a monopoly.
Gotcha.
They are somewhat religious, but their religion is more akin to what you would know as the tech priests of Mars.
Gotcha.
Except, they don't actually believe in the bullshit. They just put on the appearance to make everybody, a little off-put.
Okay.
All right, it's more of a pretending, not necessarily like, oh, we believe in the machine spirits. It's not like, let's do a prayer over this machine and get Bill from tech support in here and like hit it with a hammer or something.
Yeah.
It's like, fix this fucking thing. All right.
They actually understand the machines. It's not just religious dogma.
Yeah, but they pretend to do the religious dogma to throw everyone else off.
Gotcha.
Now, the reason how Comstar came into being was way back when. There used to be a group called Star League. They were in charge of everything. Star League fell apart because of stupidity. And Comstar was basically originally the communications department of Star League.
Okay.
And they just hung around. Alright. I am doing fine. Let's see. Papa Hollow is asking how I'm doing. I'm doing fine, dude. I hope you're having a great day. Let me give him a shout out real quick. Papa Hollow. You were playing Fallout. Cool. Alright. So, I have now covered the basics of what you need to know.
Okay.
Now, to put the background of more recent events of what's going on before this great event, the clans invaded the Inner Sphere. Alright? This much I think you remember.
Yeah.
Alright? Because the clans show up frequently. The upside of the clans is, while they are weird, they're really good with their technology. Their mechs are great for, short, asymmetric combat. Alright? That's kind of what they're built for. And they have a warrior society, so like the clan, like the mech warriors are all about like running everything, all that jazz. And they're big into honor.
Gotcha.
Like really big into honor. Alright. So during the event of this game, before the give me a minute while my brain basically resets and does stupid. Oh, ow! I just had a pillar fall on my ass. So the clans had been basically whooping the shit.
That you needed your brain to reset.
Asshole. The clans were whooping the shit out of the Inner Sphere houses, like real bad. All right. And the clanners were making a beeline towards Earth because the clans believe that if they take Earth, their messiah-like person, Kerensky, will come back.
Gotcha.
All right. They fully believe he'll come back. You know, kind of like a Jesus thing. And, you know, they'll be awesome again. Alright? Where? Oh, I need to go this way! That way. Okay, cool. So they're making a beeline to Earth. Now, Comstar sees this and goes, Oh, we don't like this. We need to fix this real fucking quick. So, what Comstar does is they kind of look into the clans, how they work, and all that jazz. And they go, hey, these clans like to basically scream about challenges called batchalls. Does that mean a facehugger is pulling a ratatouille on Ruby? No! Fuck you! No!
If it means that we get fan art of that, yes.
No! God, no! No.
It could be underneath your little red hat and just, you know, working your hands up the tree.
I swear, you bastards will just want to torture me, I swear. Alright. So, oh God, I'm trying to remember where I was. Okay. So they studied the clans, realized the clans like doing this thing called a batchall, which is kind of basically, hey, you, me, let's fight.
Yeah.
Alright? Callian, I haven't seen you in a dog's age. Brain reset was having 2 strokes. Dark humor. Oh my God. Yes, we must have this. Oh God, you people are messed up. Anyway, so they realized, let's send the clans a batchall. And now, the clans have been begging for this for a while. Because they wanted the success of their culture, for the Inner Sphere barbarians to accept real culture and how this whole war is supposed to work. Alright? So, the clans originally saw this as a win. As an absolute win. They're like, yeah, this is great. Let's do this. And so, they got the batchall from this cracked up telecommunications company, and the telecommunications company had a leader, like a general, named Anastasius Bolt. Alright? Put a pin in him. He'll be much more important later.
Okay.
Alright? And all the information they found on Bolt, that the clans did, was he was a paper general. He has never fought in an actual war. He is, you know, he is untested. He is just trained at war, never actually fought one.
Right.
Oh, what happened to Callian? Yeah, I've been away from Twitch for a few months. I lost my mom in February. Need to get some time. I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you're doing okay. Hugs for you, Callian. I hope you're all right. All right. Sorry. Getting back into it. Oof.
So yeah, paper general.
Yeah. So he's a paper general. They don't really care about him, so on and so forth. And so in this case, Comstar picked a planet for them to fight on. All right. And they asked for 1 year to prepare. And the clans were like, sure, whatever. The planet they picked was named Tukiad. Okay?
Okay.
It's an agricultural planet. Alright? So, they just grew plants all the time. Farms as far as you could see.
Yep.
Alright? So, they have Tukiad, and the clans agreed to it. They're like, oh yeah, sure, we'll fight on some like backwater planet. And the agreement was that if Comstar won, the clans would stop and halt their invasion and retreat back to a certain line for 15 years. All right, which is fair. Comstar said that if they lost, they would not fight the clanners and let them come all the way to Terra.
Okay.
Now, mind you, Comstar said they would not fight the clanners.
Right.
All right? They said nothing about the houses.
Right.
At all. So, Comstar's idea was, okay, we may not win because all we have is mercenaries, because we have a fuck ton of them, because we have a lot of money. We're literally the bank. So they go, we have a bunch of mercenaries, so what we're going to do is we're going to turn Tukiad into a fortress world.
Right.
All right, and they took a year to do that. Which is kind of wild. You imagine being like a... Go ahead.
Yeah, you can do a lot of fortification in that amount of time.
Yeah, imagine being like, Joe Blow Farmer, and suddenly, essentially, the biggest telecommunications company comes to your planet and goes, yeah, we're just gonna, like, put all these guns and shit and everything everywhere around your planet.
Yeah.
Don't argue. Because...
honestly, they could probably buy out all the farmers, and it would be just a rounding error.
Pretty much. Because, once again, they were the bank.
Yep.
So there was that. So the idea that Comstar had was they were going to do what's called a defense in depth strategy. All right. To those of you who don't know what that is, that's also known as a castle doctrine or a castle strategy, known as the anti-Blood Raven strategy.
Yeah.
Or otherwise known as hippity hoppity get the fuck off my property strategy. Essentially, that's how it's going to work. And so they had their forces very mobile, constantly moving, constantly hitting things, all that shit, all the fucking time. So that's frightening. Now the clans started arguing with each other on who got to go down first. And how clans do that is they don't fight with each other. They enter in this weird bidding process. Oh, Papa Hollow lighting the place on fire again. So the way the bidding process works is you want to be the most honorable going onto the field, which basically rough definition means they're going to go down with as few resources as they think they can get away with and still get the job done.
Right.
This is a smurfy cure.
Oh, wait, watch it. You almost hit me that time.
No, it would be against my moral compass.
Your f***ing moral compass is a roulette wheel!
Oh, give me a second. I gotta give
just
Kalyan
look
a
at you.
shout
You
out.
look like the oasis to some very, very thirsty travelers.
Observation. This is a great opportunity for slaughter.
Everybody's taking fucking turns with that. I will drink as soon as I'm done fighting Durante here. Okay? Because he requires a lot of mechanics. Alright. So, you can imagine that the clans are now, like, some of the bidding process is literally taking down mechs that they have and disabling weapons on those mechs and never using them, even if the mech gets destroyed. That is the kind of kooky, dumb shit that these guys are doing. Alright. It is bizarre. It is weird. I do not understand why the clans are like this, but hey, whatever.
I can do it with both hands tied behind my back.
Essentially, it's like, oh yeah. It's like, this is gonna go well. Alright. So, Comstar's idea was, we're gonna do as much damage to these guys as possible. And even if we lose, we will still damage their war machine enough that it will buy the houses time to get their shit together. All right.
Which seems like a reasonable exchange there.
Yeah. So here we are. It is May the 1st. It is time for this battle to kick off. All right. There were, I forget how many clans. Give me a second. I know the number too, and it's going to drive me up a wall. I think it was like 5 or 6 clans. It was not many, but they were the biggest clans. All right, we killed him. Good. Let me see. I know there's clans. Smoke Jaguars, Nova Cats, Ghost Bear, Steel Vipers, Diamond Sharks, Jade Falcons, and Timber Wolves. Those were the clans. All right. Everybody did great. Oh, your adventure play is beautiful. All right, so those are the ones who went down. Okay? So the Comm Guard basically prepared the planet. They unsealed a bunch of technology that they normally didn't use. Like, they had mechs kind of hanging out in their museums and went, fuck it, we're pressing these into service. Like, whatever comes up, all right? So, in order, it was, Smoke Jaguar was first, then Nova Cat, Steel Viper, Diamond Shark, Ghost Bear, Jade Falcon, and lastly, Clan Wolf. Alright? I state that order for a reason. Because when the clans got down to the damn planet, they found every road had been mined, every tree had a mech behind it, every bush had a guy with a rocket launcher or a sniper rifle. It was like, there were weapons and shit everywhere.
Yep.
And they basically went to town. Like, Comstar knew this was going to be a meat grinder and prepared accordingly. Good lord, it was insane. Alright. So, to give you an idea, by the way, why I stated that order, remember how I said Jade Falcons and Clan Wolf were last? They're the only clans that still exist. Thank you for the hydrate. Now I'm gonna do a second hydrate now. Yeah, no. Smoke Jaguars, Nova Cat, Steel Vipers, and Diamond Sharks, pretty much those 4 clans, no longer existed when the Battle of Tukey had finished. And they were all major clans. They are dead. Their leaders, which are called the Khans, they're dead. Most of their high-level mechs and their pilots, who have been bred for generations for this shit.
Crush your enemies.
Dead.
See them
Dead,
driven
yeah.
before you. And hear the lamentation of the women.
Canvas Clown, Canvas Clown basically did the whole "What's Best in Life" sound effect, which is very accurate for what happened in this battle. But yeah, oh boy. I think it was Nova Cat. Was it Nova Cats or Steel Viper? I'm trying to remember. One of the clans did this special mid-air drop maneuver where they just let the mechs out at a low altitude to just like do this cool like paratrooper thing. Yeah. The Comm Guard decided, yeah, none of that shit, and they scrambled every aircraft they could get to basically start shooting down not just mechs, but also dropships. To the point where these aircraft were kamikazing into shit.
Yep.
It was like, fuck these people in particular. Go. And oh boy, was it heinous. Like, so bad. By the time the clans left, like I said, most of those clans were destroyed, other than Jade Falcon and Clan Wolf. Jade Falcon lost about 40% of their fighting force. Their overall fighting force. Not the fighting force that went to the planet. Their entire invasion force. 40%. Gone.
Yeah.
Oh no, give me a second. Defending, blah, 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 afflicting. Sorry, 70%. My bad. 40% was the Clan Wolf. I got them backwards.
Okay.
Jade Falcon lost 70% of their forces, either dead or severely injured. Clan Wolf was 40% of their forces were either dead or severely injured.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh boy. Though it says down here later, it says Clan Wolf suffered the fewest fatalities. So 20% of that 40 was people who had been killed. The other 20% was people who had been injured. And Diamond Shark was, in this battle, entirely wiped out. The other clans were so damaged that by the time they went back to the other clans just basically finished them off.
Woof.
Yeah. It was fucking wild. And the clans come in, by the way, two varieties. There are Crusaders and Wardens. Okay? Crusaders are all about, let's go into the inner sphere and fucking murder everyone until they start doing things the way we do it.
Uh-huh.
Wardens are more like, hey, let's sit back and kind of watch them for a while and do skirmishes and engage in some, a more slower approach to warfare.
Right.
Several clans switched from being Crusader to Wardens after this battle. This 21-day battle. So that is kind of craziness. Now, you remember that little pin I told you to put in?
Uh-huh.
The little gentleman, Anastasia Volt?
Yes.
It turned out that wasn't his real name. And the clans found out about this after the battle. His real name was... give me a second. I know it, too. Apparently it's not here. Okay, let me see if I can find it. Anastasia's... let's see if I could... I know I'm spelling it wrong. Yeah, Anastasia is Volt. His name was actually Frederick Steiner. He was one of the greatest generals House Steiner ever produced. And when he went into the Battle of Tukid, he was over 50 years old. He had 30 plus years of war experience.
Nice.
And he was the type of warrior that basically, general that was kind of like, I have a shit ton of men. I am going to keep throwing them at you until eventually the problem goes away.
I have reserves.
Yeah. Yeah, he's something else. But I believe he was, I want to say 50-ish when he went in there. Let's see, Battle Tukid was 20, it's 3052. So I'm about to do a little bit of math here. 3052, and Steiner was born in 2972. Sorry, he was 80 when he went to this fight, and he became a general at 15. That's when he got his general of title.
Yeah.
Because he had been fighting in as a soldier, an officer, since he was 12.
Damn.
It's like, well, he certainly has experience. Oh, God. Kalyan, I hope you're doing okay. I really do. I understand that you're going through a lot, and I hope that it gets better for you. I really do. Yep. But yeah, that is the special thing I wanted to talk about today because I got reminded of it recently. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh yeah, it's a special event in Battletech that kind of fits with our current day date.
Yeah.
It is this kind of wild fucking battle that basically Space AT&T whooped the shit out of an entire warrior culture by basically tricking them.
You don't fuck with Ma Bell.
Yeah, it's like, oh no. Is that a link that they tried to send? I want to say yes. Goodbye. But no, I was like, I thought you would get a laugh out of that.
Yeah.
Especially being a 40k fan. Battletech and 40k have a lot of overlap to it.
They do. They really do.
I would say if you're into 40k and your faction is Imperial Knights, like if that is your faction and your favorite thing to do in 40k is to have Imperial Knights fight Imperial Knights, then you should try Battletech. Because you'll get that feeling with it. I will say though, the critical hit rolls on Battletech, at least on tabletop, are a little brutal.
Yes.
Because for one, last time I was playing Battletech, I had a Cyclops. I think that was what it was. Was the mech, was a Cyclops. The important thing is I had on my shoulder an AC-20. Which is a short range, high damage cannon. Alright? And so I sat on top of a hill, and I was using my medium laser, and I was plinking at someone running across the battlefield at me. When he got into range for my AC-20 to finally hit him, I fired my AC-20, scored a critical hit, and then when you score a critical hit, you choose where... you don't choose, you roll randomly where that critical hit goes.
Right, yeah.
And my critical hit went straight into the cockpit.
That is always a solid critical hit location.
Yeah, and so I did... The AC-20 does 20 damage normally. On a critical, it does 40. On a cockpit, that only has 12 health.
Yep, that's a dead pilot.
That is a dead pilot. That is a very dead pilot. And I was like, whoa! And it was just the first roll I made with the AC-20. I got super lucky. And the other guy just nodded, shook my hand, and called. He goes, that was a good shot.
Yeah, a lot of your more detailed, crunchy mech RPGs and tabletop games will have that kind of thing. I was a big fan of Mechton Zeta, which has that same thing. It's like, yeah, it sucks if it happens to a PC, critical hit, cockpit, penetrating damage. Congratulations, you're tomato soup in a can.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I do like the granularity. It's like, oh, shit, my ammo was hit, so that blew up and I took additional damage. Or, oh man, I lost a leg. And so now my mech has to use extra fuel to use its, like, flying jets.
Oh, yeah.
I think that shit is cool and I eat it up.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I really want to play, like, MechWarrior 5 with you later. Because if you lose one of your legs, your mech operates at half speed.
Yep.
Which is cool. If your ammo gets hit, it does detonating damage, which does not just damage to the part that it's in, but also the surrounding parts. Does a little bit of splash damage. We just keep prodding along one day at a time, which is all I can do. Yeah, that's fine, Cowian. Do whatever you need to do to get through the day. That's important. You gotta take care of yourself, both mentally and physically. Yep. Oh, God, I have to fight disease things now. Eesh. Alright, there we go. Now I got those. Attention. Pop Hollow, of course, lights the place on fire. But I feel like if you went into third-person mode, I feel like you would enjoy Battletech that way.
Quite possibly.
The only time I ever see you going into... God damn it, Papa Hollow. The only time I ever see you going into first-person mode is if you were doing like a sniper.
Yeah.
In which case, you don't have to worry about what's behind you or what's around you. You are very, very far away. So you don't have to keep your head on that swivel.
Yeah.
Which is helpful. Oh, excuse me. God damn. I would like to try to see if I can't get, like, me, you, and, like, 2 other people just to pilot mechs. Like, all of us have Battletech. Oh, not Battletech. Mech Warrior 5.
Maybe we can get on that sometime.
Yeah, I feel like that'd be cool. There's the strategy version of the game, which I think you would love. And that one's called just Battletech. That's a video game.
Right.
And you control every mech. But it's a turn-based strategy game. I will say, though, some of the missions you're given in that game are kind of bullshit. The big ones being raiding the convoys. If you're on a mission to raid convoys. Or if you're protecting a convoy. Because for some reason, you only get 4 mechs, and your enemies get, like, a bunch more.
Gotcha.
So you will always be outnumbered in that. And you also have to protect something or hit something before it escapes. And that is also a pain in the dick. Hey, Fedorian! Fedorian has arrived.
My science vessel should be here by now.
Oh.
Alright, so...
Okay. Get in the center. Oh no, the healer went off. Oh god. They came back. Okay, good. For a second there, I thought the healer was going to get themselves killed.
Alright, so let's go. Survey this system.
Whee! Dodging all the miasma clouds. There was one game you were interested in as well that I've kind of been thinking about. It could be fun to do, and that was Elite Dangerous.
Yeah.
I feel like that could be an interesting thing to do, especially if we fly in a squadron.
Sure, yeah, I'd love to check it out. One of the games that I have bought, I think, or at least acquired the most times.
Like you've bought it multiple times?
Like, I believe I have it on PS4, and I have it on Steam, but I think I got it in Steam in a bundle. And I'm trying to remember, I may or may not have it also from, like, Xbox.
That would make sense. It's in a lot of systems.
Yeah. And honestly, I think I only intentionally bought it once. The rest of the time it was either, oh, this is free with your Xbox Gold membership, or, oh, you know, this is a humble bundle, you know.
Yeah.
So.
I think I bought it myself once and I never touched it
Against
again.
my moral compass.
Your f***ing moral compass is a roulette wheel!
Hey, Mez!
I mean, just look at you. You look like the oasis to some very, very thirsty travelers.
This is a great opportunity for slaughter.
I will hydrate as soon as I'm done fighting all these robots. Fight the robots. It's like a gun armadillo and like a frickin' some weird flying wasp thing. It's a little bizarre.
Its people sought ever greater freedoms, no matter the cost.
Yep, ever something freedoms. Mez, what were you playing? Makers and crafting. So you were crocheting, I believe. If memory serves, that's what your craft is.
They tried to buy peace with fire and steel.
I think that's the case.
Do that, and then that. And then...
Yep.
create a new sector.
Okay, here we go. More guys. And there's a fireball. Oh my god, there's so many little dudes.
Who hates me in the galaxy?
Stellaris. I know that question. God, Papa Ho's doing it so goddamn often. Alright, we're about to go fight the big giant boss. But before I do that, let me go display, go here, and let me spin the wheel real quick.
Da, 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 da.
RPGs you would most like to try.
That's a nice evergreen topic that we can hit multiple times because the answer does change over time.
Oh yeah. What? Do you got one in mind?
Well, I have been hankering to try Pathfinder 2. I've been doing a lot of reading and research on it, but when I go to the Origins Game Fair this next month, I have specifically signed up to try Pathfinder 2 just so I can see it in action, get a better sense of how it works. And I've also signed up to try the Dragonbane RPG, which is, if I recall correctly, the history of it is that it's originally a Rollmaster derivative that was popular in Scandinavia, so like Norway and Sweden and Finland, and they had a version of it there called Demons and Dragons, or Dragons and Demons, and it has been essentially re-imported to the West as Dragonbane.
Okay, that makes sense.
I'm really just trying to broaden my perspective on fantasy RPGs because, I mean, 5th edition's fine, but it does not excite me. It does not do the things that would interest me for a long-term game.
So Mez says, yeah, I crocheted on Saturday. I haven't streamed for a few days because I was like, hey, every now and then you need a few days off. Oh, got hit with the shell. Didn't mean to do that.
Was it a blue shell?
No. It was an artillery shell. The Kriegsmarine decided to say hi. For me, one of the games I would be interested in trying is any of the Warhammer RPGs. I would like to give those a shot. I know that Warhammer's like depressing and all that shit, and I get it, but maybe having a group that wasn't completely batshit psycho might help with that.
Sure. Yeah.
Because the last group I had, I was playing a Chaos Marine, because it was Black Crusade.
Mm-hmm.
And while it was moderately okay, I didn't care for it.
Right.
Like, it wasn't exciting to me. And I was like, but I love the lore of 40k, and so it's like, maybe it was just a group.
And when none asked,
Could be.
what is the point? There were none left up.
And so I feel like that would be kind of cool. I would like to give another crack at my Cornate Chain Zerker dude.
Okay.
I feel like that could be kind of fun. Mez goes, I don't know what RPG I would like to try. I try most things. If you want to get experience with Pathfinder and not being able to find a tabletop group, I would recommend Pathfinder Kingmaker. It does a pretty good job at it.
Or its joys.
Or Wrath of the Righteous, that's also another good one. For 5th Ed, if you want to try 5th Ed and get a good idea of what it's like without finding a group, Baldur's Gate 3 is pretty good feel for that.
Mm-hmm.
I have played a chunk of 5e. Okay. If you want World of Darkness, though, I can't honestly think of a better version of the game than Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. I mean, if you download the fan patch, to fix all the bugs. It is a really good game. Okay, I got something to add to the wheel. Races in tabletop games you want to try. Okay. I'll make sure to add that.
Nice.
Because that could be fun, because there are some races I feel don't get a lot of love.
Yeah, I'd say that's true. Just on my own personal experience, I've tried to rotate through like most of the major Dungeons and Dragons races, but there are certainly ones that have been added. So there's new stuff that I haven't gotten to try.
I haven't tried the Luxon yet, or any of those weird ones, but I would say out of all the base races, the only one I really haven't tried is Gnome.
Really?
Yeah, just... I never got a character that fit a gnome.
Okay.
And I don't know why. It's just... It's not that I hate the race. I think the race is viable and it's nice, but it's just like, I haven't felt it.
Fair.
Faye goes, I've been waiting to try out Tales of the Valiant from Kobold Press because I have a lady boner for Celeste Konowich.
Don't know the name off the top of my head.
Me either. So for RPGs, I would say for tabletop, it's Warhammer 40k. I want to try one of those one day. Just to give it a shot. Lead writer. It's the writer. So it's not a character in the game. It's a writer for the game.
Right on.
Cool. If I was looking at video game RPGs, I mean, I'm playing through Rogue Trader right now, and I'm kind of having a blast with that. I had to start over, though, because I built poorly, and I got myself stuck in a situation pretty early on in the game that didn't go well. And I kind of saw the writing on the wall that my character was going to get purged. Because I made the wrong choice in front of an Inquisitor.
Whoops.
Yeah. Because I was going Iconoclast, which is, like, you're for the people and all that jazz. And I picked Crime Lord as the background. And, the Inquisitor knew of my Crime Lord background. And when I clicked on one of the Iconoclast answers to a question to try to save some people in a in an area, the Inquisitor didn't take kindly to that and referred to me as a heretic.
Oops.
And I was like, I know where this is going. This is gonna go bad. I bought a new book for D&D Beyond, and I want to try a Vulpin. Vulpin could sound cool. I'm actually in the process right now of doing a race and class modification to translate it from 5th edition to Pathfinder 1 and 2E. And I contacted the guy who made it, which was Neo Soul God is his name. And I asked for permission to do it. I was like, hey, I want to do this because someone made a comment on one of his videos going, hey, can you make your content for Pathfinder? And he looked at the camera and went, no. Because he doesn't care for Pathfinder. It's just not his shtick. He's a 5e guy. Gnomes can also vary a lot from setting to setting. This is true. This is true. So I asked him, was like, do I have permission to translate these into Pathfinder for you, seeing as you do not wish to do so? And he was like, yeah, sure, just, make sure I get credit, all this jazz, so on and so forth. And the race is known as the Nightskins.
Okay.
Because he's taking back the word.
As I was trying to tell you, there are no bullets left in this gun.
Because it's a derogatory term for African American people. And he is reclaiming the word, and he turned it into a D&D race that has like starry skin and stuff.
Okay.
And is very celestial in kind of setup.
I see.
So it's decently written. Like, I like it.
Yeah.
He does put an addendum in it that if you are not a person of color, please do not play this race. He just asks people who are not of color not to play the race.
Yeah.
But he understands everybody's going to do their own thing. He's not going to get overly upset if people do that. He just... It is a request he has. But that's why I contacted him once I saw that. I was like, can I do this and not upset you? Is this okay? Do I have your permission? And that's why he gave that permission. The other one that got his attention, though, for me, because someone, or how I say this, several people kept accusing one of his creations of being unbalanced. And it was the Way of the Capoeista Monk. And you've played 5th Ed enough to know that monks aren't really particularly stellar.
Yes, this is true.
They kind of got the short end of the stick, and a lot of the things they have to spend key for, the rogue gets for free.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of BS. So what he did was, the Way of the Capoeista Monk was, a lot of its special abilities don't use key. It eats up 5 feet of your movement.
Interesting.
So you have a different mechanic that you can use, and with monks having so much movement, it works out really well. And so I was like, okay. So I put it into my, giant spreadsheet of numbers, and then I had my computer run simulations, essentially. Random number generator meets, roguelike video game thing that I have on my computer.
Okay.
I use it to test out classes and stuff. And while it's not the end-all be-all decider on if a class is balanced or not, it at least gives me a rough guess, like where I should be looking.
Gotcha.
So, like I said, it's not perfect, but it at least gets me in the ballpark. And his turned out to be pretty well balanced, so I want to try playing that monk one day and seeing if it is balanced completely. Mm-hmm. But I pointed this out on TikTok in a video. I was like, yeah, I tested it out. Like, I had the computer run, I think it was almost 1,000 simulations. Because it ran it 250 simulations at 4 different level zones. It was like level 5, level 10, level 15, and level 20.
Mm-hmm.
Just to see, okay, is it late game it's broken, or is it early game it's broken? Where is the brokenness? Turned out, no, it was pretty well balanced. I mean, it was better balanced than fucking Echo Knight.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
That's a little bit of a low bar.
Yeah. Echo Knight is busted as hell.
Yeah.
Anyway, I keep going off topic. Oh, boy. My brain. But yeah, I've been playing Rogue Trader. I've been having fun with it. Other RPGs I kind of want to finish. I want to finish Baldur's Gate 3. That's something I want to do. Divinity Original Sin 2, I kind of want to give a touch on.
I'd love to start Baldur's Gate 3. I just haven't found the time yet.
Yep. I've been yelled at by multiple times by Fallout fans that I have not played Fallout New Vegas.
Okay.
I've just never gone around to it. I never touched it.
Yeah.
So there's that. I also got Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous I need to do. So there's that. Star Ocean, the second story, is another one I want to finish. Because I started way back in the day and I had a busted copy. And I kind of wish I kept the busted copy because it's worth a lot of money now.
Hmm.
Did I ever tell you about how that game was busted?
Does not ring a bell.
Okay. So, do you know the Star Ocean series?
Very broad strokes. Again, it's something that friends of mine have played and told me about, but it's not something that I know details about.
All right, so the second game, which is just referred to as the second story, you pick up an item early in the game called a glass orb. All right? The description doesn't give you any information that says it's a glass orb, and it's worth, I think it's like 250 of the game's currency. All right? doesn't really matter much. You most players sell it fairly early on because you could use the money to get better equipment. Turns out you need to hold on to it, and the game doesn't tell you that.
I love when that happens.
Well, there's a reason behind it. All right? I don't fault the game for this. All right? Because what happened was, if you don't hold on to it up to a certain battle, there are 3 bosses that you fight at the same time. If you don't have the glass orb, they have infinite HP. The reason why they did this is so that the playtesters were told to hold on to the glass orb by the programmers. So they could properly test the game. The programmers did not tell the production company this, because the production company fucked them on their contract.
So the players end up paying the price.
Yeah, the players ended up paying the price because their goal was to get all the players to do mass returns and cost the company a bunch of money, which is mostly what happened.
I see.
The only reason why I got a crappy copy was because someone's parent decided not to return it, thinking they couldn't, and they just sold it to Vintage Videos and Games.
I see.
And that's where I picked it up. And Vintage didn't know it was a bad copy. Nobody knew it was a bad copy except for the parents who sold it to the store.
Huh.
Because the people at the store told me, it's like, we didn't know this was a bad copy. Like, we'll work with you. I'm like, nah, it's fine. This has got to get out of circulation anyway because it was well past the return point. And I was like, I'll just throw it away.
Right.
And call it a day. I'll call it a loss. I don't need you guys to give me back my money. It's not your fault this happened. They made a sale in good faith. I bought it in good faith. They weren't told that the person who sold it to them that it was a bad copy of the game.
Right.
That bad copy, by the way, is now worth over $3,000.
Wow.
Yeah. Because there's only like a dozen of them left because every copy that had that initial release has been mostly either returned or trashed over the years. So that is a fun thing with that game. I do want to finish it. Moist Fox, can Vulpins have the ability where you can add your intelligence modifier to dexterity saving throws?
Neat.
That's not terrible. I mean, that's kind of like a pseudo paladin ability, honestly. Where the paladins, they can add their charisma to any saving throw.
Yeah.
So that's not terrible. I mean, I don't see that as totally busted. That seems pretty average, honestly. Video links, what's going on?
Let's see.
All right. But yeah, I would say those are the RPGs I would very much like to try.
Yeah, like I said, Pathfinder 2 and Dragonbane are big on my list. There are others that I might enjoy, but I'm really just trying to broaden my fantasy game horizons right now.
Which is fair.
I'll abstain on this one.
Worst video game that felt like a tabletop RPG.
Ooh.
Worst. Oh boy.
Yeah, there's some substantial ground we could cover there.
The first one that comes to mind. Now, mind you, I know this is not my worst, but it's the one that comes to my mind first. Return to the Temple of Elemental Evil, the video game.
Okay. I think I owned that one and never played it. I am aware also that there was a Pool of Radiance game, not the first one, not the gold box Pool of Radiance, but a second Pool of Radiance game that came out around the time of that Temple of Elemental Evil game.
It did the isometric view, like every D&D game was at that time.
Well, the problem with the Pool of Radiance one that I was thinking of is that it, at least on initial release, had a bug in it that if you uninstalled it, it could delete your hard drive or some bullshit. Like it had some kind of fatal fucking flaw because I think of its copy protection scheme.
Jesus.
And it's just like, oof.
That sounds almost as bad as Spore's DRM.
Yeah, oh, don't get me started on Spore.
Oh my god, like, don't get me wrong, Spore was not a terrible game. Its DRM was fucking heinous.
Spore was also not the game we were promised.
This is true.
I was so excited for the announced version of Spore, and then what we ended up getting, it was just like, I don't give a shit.
It was basically just several mini games.
Yeah. So was not a fan of that.
Especially the last part where you had the spaceship. Oh my god, that was heinous. I hated that section.
I'm gonna be a hot take guy and say Daggerfall, the first Elder Scrolls game.
Ooh. That is a hot take.
Not necessarily because of the game itself, really, so much as the fact that it was buggy as shit.
Okay, let's be brutally honest. Every Bethesda game is buggy as shit.
Well, this is where they got their start being buggy as shit.
This is true. This is true. This is true.
It's just like routinely you're falling through the geography. It's like, oh, this is what the dungeon looks like from outside the dungeon. I'm falling through space and I can see the 3D map of the dungeon. Cool.
Yeah, that's neat. Fuck off. I didn't really care for Daggerfall. I didn't care for Arena. I really didn't play them much. So I really don't have much of a strong feeling about them.
Yeah.
Here's my hot take for the Elder Scrolls series. Morrowind is shit.
Okay.
And here is the reason why, and this is the thing that kind of bugs me the most. We have all come to realize that my memory is not the best in the world.
True.
All right? I do forget things a lot. That's why I write shit down a lot. All right? I try my best, especially as a DM. I'm constantly taking notes. All right? But, with that being said, games like Oblivion and Skyrim I like because the game helps me take the notes for me, and the only notes I need are primarily for the quest I'm directly on.
Right.
Alright? So, like, one of the quests in Oblivion I love to death. I think you've played Oblivion.
Yes.
Alright. Do you remember the quest where you were, I think it was the Assassin's Guild, and you were trapped in a house, everybody was told there's gold in the house, in reality there isn't, and you had to kill everybody in the house. But not get caught.
I remember hearing about it, but I never played the Assassin Path, so I did not get that quest myself.
They say people with ADHD like to see the world burn while holding the fire extinguisher. I mean, that's true. That's fair. I'm slowed. Because I'm diseased. Okay. But no, it was a fun quest because it played like a murder mystery, except you were the murderer.
Right.
And it was kind of fun. Especially if you just... Because there was the option of just going around and just stabbing everybody in the house.
Mm-hmm.
But you made extra money and extra XP if you did what the client wanted, which was to make nobody suspect it's you.
Right.
And so I felt like it's almost like reverse Clue.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is kind of fun. I like this. I want more of this. Morrowind, the problem I had with Morrowind is where in Oblivion, like that one quest where you have to take notes and learn things and stuff like that, but the quests themselves, you could select the quest and put that at the top of your list. So that way you don't have to sit there and keep track of it.
Sure.
Alright? Morrowind didn't do that. Morrowind is all the quest notes were interchanged based on the date you got the notes.
Interesting.
And there were, in some areas, multiple quests that would trigger at the same time. So you would get like 5 to 6 notes, and you're like, oh, I want to do this one quest. The other 4 quests, you would just lose the notes on. You're not sure what the fuck you're supposed to be doing.
Oh, yeah, that sucks.
It annoyed the shit out of me. That's why I have issues with Morrowind. It's not that the gameplay is bad, it's just that one element just annoys me. Can't stand it. Hey, AP! You missed it earlier, I banned a bot. Oh, excuse me. Trying to think of other games that felt like TTRPGs, but I didn't care for. Surprisingly, I didn't care much for Baldur's Gate 2 past Chapter 2.
Okay, I mean, I will part ways with you there.
Maybe it was the character I built or the way I was playing or something, but like, as soon as I think it was when I went into the Underdark, I just got my shit wrecked constantly.
Fair.
And I don't know why. Mind you, I was much younger, so, you know, it is what it is. But it was just so frustrating because, like, before I went to the Underdark, I was curb stomping things. I whooped the shit out of the fucking red dragon like he was nothing. I was like, okay, I should be ready. Like, I did all the quests I could. You know, on the surface. And then it got to the point where it's like, okay, I have to go to the Underdark to do the next quest. No matter what I do. There are no side quests, no nothing for me. And I was like, okay, I should be more than leveled enough to deal with this. I go down there, hi, here's some drow and some mind flayers. Get fucked.
Yeah.
And there was nothing I could do to stop it. And I was like, that's bullshit. I mean, I feel like if I'm playing a Cavalier with the Holy Avenger in my fucking hand, and I smite something, that thing should be really fucking hurt.
Yeah.
And the Mind Flayer just looked at me like I was stupid. And I'm like, the fuck you say? It was just, It was just my issue with Baldur's Gate 2. Shadows of Om. But, like, I don't think it's the worst, but I felt like it could have used some retooling. Maybe.
Fair. Yeah, my experience with it was fairly positive, but, you know, it's been a long time, so I don't necessarily remember all the pains that I went through for it.
Drow were plus 1 CR for a reason. Wink. Yes, I know they were plus 1 CR, but like, when you can basically herb stomp a dragon in 3 turns, the Drow should not be that much more of a threat.
They are clever and sneaky.
Yeah. It was just like, what the hell? And it was honestly more of the Mind Flayers that were the problem, not the Drow.
Yeah, the Mind Flayers were pretty fucked. If I recall correctly, you know, they could hit you with a Psychic Blast to stun your party and then just move in and eat your ass.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what happened. I smited one, and it just sat there and just nothing. And I'm like, I am in melee range with you. You are a caster. what is going on with this? What is wrong with this picture?
Mm-hmm.
And I had so many resistances to their shit, being a Cavalier.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wow. So there is that. Let's see. Is there any RPGs in my poor games that this fits? Oh, he's invulnerable. Okay. Means I have to look for the mobs that spawn up. Because I don't have the effect. There they are. Hi there. Yeah, in a world of magic. Whoops, psychic attack surprise. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, but psionics in second ed were also bullshit.
You're not wrong.
They were horribly imbalanced.
Yes. Honestly, one of the worst aspects of second edition, and second edition had some pretty shitty aspects.
Yeah. Oh. It was like I got basically like, how do I put this? The Book of Nine Swords gave me the same vibes as the psionics did in second ed.
I will say, in my view, there isn't even a comparison. Second edition psionics were one of the single most broken things ever published for any version of D&D.
Yeah, it's pretty much like, hi, I'm going to attack you. Okay, cool. You're now stunned. Like, snap, you're now stunned. Snap, and now I just broke your weapon. Snap, I just broke your spine. You're dead now. Have a nice day.
So, I mean, let me, for the folks who may be listening who aren't familiar with second edition, there was a campaign setting in second edition. It's been in others, but it started in second edition called Dark Sun. And Dark Sun was a gritty world of, scraping by, survival. Your characters were hardy survivors and, not as much like traditional fantasy heroes. And one of the things that they did for Dark Sun that was unique is they recommended starting play at 3rd level. Like, this was unheard of prior to Dark Sun in 2nd edition. It was always assumed, well, yeah, you can start above 1st level, but the default assumption, you start characters at 1st level. But Dark Sun was so deadly, you should start your characters at 3rd level. That was the official recommendation.
Yeah.
The problem was, most Dark Sun characters, if they were not a full-fledged psychic class, they had a wild talent. So at the very least, you might have 1 or 2 little psychic powers in addition to whatever your abilities were. And I forget how much choice you had in it, how much rolling you had in it. I know if you had a full-bore psychic, then you could, kind of choose your powers. But in the psychokinesis line, there's a power called Disintegrate.
Fuck that one.
Is exactly what it says on the tin. And you could get it starting at 3rd level. I hope everyone is sensing the problem here, that your rando, like whatever the fuck character you're running, could have a wild talent Disintegrate that's just like, oh, this is the big boss? Okay, save or die. Now, the boss is probably going to save, and you can't just spam that thing, but there's at least a decent chance, like 30 or 40%, that you just ended the combat with the big boss monster. Because it's dead. It's disintegrated.
Or God forbid, one of the villains had that.
Oh, God, yeah. I mean, that would just be the GM being a dick.
Yeah. Hey, guess how often that fucking happens?
Yeah, running into save or die spells at 3rd level.
Like,
It's
like, hi, welcome to D&D. Eat a dick and die.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck you.
It was honestly one of the most poorly thought out things that I had ever seen.
Now Dark Sun has the distinct dishonor of also spawning something else that has been a plague on the off-color community.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of something called gore?
Oh,
G-O-R.
Yeah, I was going to say, yes.
Different gore. All right. So,
I have heard of the other one, the series of fantasy novels with, let's say, master-slave overtones.
yep, and high amounts of sexism.
Yes.
Yeah. The inspiration for the gore novels was a Black Sun campaign.
That can't be.
Yeah.
The timing's wrong. It's backwards.
Maybe.
Let me double check this.
right.
First gore novel published.
All right. We kicked their asses.
Is it Tarnsman of Gore? Yeah, fuck. That was published in 1966, dude. Gore is older than D&D.
Oh, okay, gore is older than D&D. My bad.
Yeah.
All right, let me rephrase that then. I would say the popularity of gore has increased because of Dark Sun.
I mean, there's definitely some thematic overlap.
Yeah.
Dark Sun is a setting where slavery is common. You've got kind of like the desert wasteland thing going on.
Yeah, because I ran into Dark Sun first, and then I ran into those novels. So that's why I had that backwards. But, like, every person who I've run into that likes the Dark Sun setting likes those novels.
Wow.
And it's usually a pretty good indicative behavior of me, or behavior I've seen, that made me go, you're a shitty person. I don't want to deal with you.
Fair.
It's just, oh my god. Because I've had people who are fans of those novels in RPs and have tried some heinous shit in my games.
Mm-hmm.
And I've gone, that is a big bag of go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm gonna go over here because I know he's coming.
Oh Lord, he coming.
Oh Lord, he coming! You guys really don't want to be there. Because he's about to go in the center.
My first exposure to the world of gore was the fact that one of the gore movies, yes, some of them got made into movies, actually was featured on Mystery Science Theater.
At least that would make it more, standable, I guess.
There's a musical number in the episode talking about how scantily clad everyone is in the movie. And it's called Tubular Boobular, and it is amazing.
Can you send me the name of that episode and I will find it? I need to watch this just to make,
Sure.
my life just a little bit more complete.
Absolutely.
I love MSTK. I love it to death. The one episode that's stuck into my head the most is unfortunately the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the movie This Island Earth.
Yes.
Oh, we're all dead. Yeah. Oh, self-cleaning mutant leaves only the fresh scent of pine.
It's a long par 5 leading to our nation's capital.
No, Tinkerbell, pull up, Tinkerbell, no, Tinkerbell!
I have sent you a link. It is available to stream on the official MST3K YouTube channel, Outlaw of Gore.
Outlaw of
It
Gore.
is the second gore movie.
Okay, here's my question, though. How much does it cost?
It's free as far as I know.
Free? Okay, cool. I know some of the movies on YouTube are not free.
Yeah, let me actually bring it up and double check, but I believe it is just a straight up, hey, we're streaming this for the ad revenue situation.
Yes. Uh-oh. Alright, there we go. That's better. I hate being in Group C because I have to run the furthest. Go! Ace of Hearts, how you doing, buddy? if it didn't get me copyright claimed, I would love to do a watch party of just fucking MSTK.
Yeah.
I feel like
some streamers figure out how to do like watch things, and I mean, I guess there's some way to do it, but I don't know what the rules are.
Yeah, me either. I'd have to look that up. Because there are some movies like that haven't gotten the Rift Tracks less MSTK treatment, and I would love to just do that. Just you, me, and like a couple buds, just making fun of the fucking movie.
Oh yeah, I mean, I have people down all the time. I mean, if there's a Saturday when I'm not gaming in some way, it's usually that I have people down and we watch a shitty movie, either one of the Rift Tracks ones that's pre-Rift or a bad one that we then go ahead and make fun of.
Yep. I pulled it up and it's free from what I can tell. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, AP, because that is my concern. It's like, I can't afford that right now.
Yeah, Shout Factory owns all the MST3K stuff right now, and they have been doing great. They've got a Twitch channel. They've got the YouTube channel. It is just kind of a blitzkrieg of MST3K content, much of it free.
Yeah, I've seen the Twitch channel. I have it actually followed.
Yeah.
Because every now and then, like, when I'm in the mood, I'll just turn it on and have it as background noise. And just be chuckling to myself going, oh my god. So, I have a question for you. Who's your favorite, I don't want to call them bad guys, but person running the experiment in MSTK for you?
That's a tough call. I mean, the Netflix seasons I enjoy, but I think I can eliminate Felicia Day as Kinga Forrester from my favorites. Like, she's not my number one.
Like, she did a good job, but she didn't quite hit it as much for me either, as much as there's a guy with freaking wild ass hair. I can't remember his name.
You're thinking of the original Dr. Forrester, I think.
Okay, the Dr. Forrester, and Pearl was her name?
Oh, okay, yeah. Pearl is the other lead one. So yeah, your lead scientists are usually a Forrester. You've got Dr. Clayton Forrester, the original. You've got Pearl Forrester for the sci-fi era, and Kinga Forrester for the Netflix.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm a big fan of both Pearl and the original Dr. Forrester. Very different energies, very different sidekicks, but love them all.
Yeah. I love them both, and I like, if I was going to pick, I can't pick between those two. Because they both hit me really nicely, but in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's kind of amusing.
Yeah.
But that's just me. Like, it's...
I will probably, like... If I were to pick an iconic Mads team, I might lean towards the original Dr. Forrester and his sidekick TV's Frank. But I will say that if we're going for pure sidekick joy, Pearl's twin sidekicks, the
Brain
Bobo
Guy
and Brain Guy, are amazing. They have incredible chemistry together. Kevin Murphy playing Bobo and Bill Corbett playing Brain Guy just makes me laugh my ass off.
Oh, yeah. I kind of like them almost more than Pearl.
I mean, that is the thing. Is like, I love Pearl, but the chemistry between those two is just incredible. So they sometimes steal it right out from under Pearl.
Yeah. Speaking of movies, though, and things of that nature, I just finished recently the Dune movies, the new ones.
How were they?
Both good and bad. Like, every Dune movie brings something to the table, and every Dune movie does something wrong.
Okay.
Okay? I always point that out whenever I talk about the Dune movies. For example, the 1984 movie did the politics gorgeously.
Uh-huh.
Alright? But they messed up the casting like the magic of the world, which is the weirding way. Because they turned it into weirding modules, which is some weird technology. And that was never a thing in the books.
Gotcha.
So it was like, that always threw me off. It also threw me off that the Fremen were very much not Middle Eastern in the original 1984, when everything in the book says otherwise.
Yeah.
It's just like, that was a choice to keep your entire crew there, your acting crew, white.
Yeah.
And I'm not a fan for that.
Very whitewashed cast.
Yeah. Though it does have one of the best, how do I put it? Secondary characters. And this ties with the 2000 series as well. Okay? And that is Gurney Halleck and Thufir Hawat. Okay?
Okay.
Those are important secondary characters in the story. Because they're the ones who form how Paul is. Other than his direct parents.
Right.
And especially Gurney later on. Gurney, like, coming back and helping Paul really helps Paul in a big way. And Thufir having his one big scene where he helps Paul one last time before dying also is an important scene. All right. The 1984 version had that, especially the director's cut, because they had Thufir killing himself to save Paul. So, and that was an important scene for Paul.
Right.
So, it was very well done. And the person they got for the 1984 Gurney Halleck was an actor that we all know and love.
Yes, that's Patrick Stewart, right?
That's Patrick Stewart. All right. The rest of the cast were pretty spot on. They were good stars. Don't get me wrong, the guy they got to play Stilgar did a good job, but once again, whitewashed as fuck. So, we'll take what we get. Then we get the 2000 miniseries, okay? And that's Dune and Children of Dune.
Yeah.
What I love about that, both those miniseries, is they got the politics, once again, spot on. They also got Baron Vladimir Harkonnen better. Because the original Vladimir Harkonnen in the 1984 one seemed like he was a little kooky, a little crazy. He didn't seem Machiavellian, if you will.
He's definitely a little more cartoony.
Yeah. But in the miniseries, they brought back the Machiavellian shit. Like, wholeheartedly. And the actor they got to play Baron Harkonnen, chef kisses, man. Great job. I could not honestly think of a better person for that character. The actor they got to play Paul looked way older than he should have. Because Paul's supposed to be in his late teens. Alright? Like, he was supposed to be barely an adult.
As I was trying to tell you, there are
And
no bullets left in
the
this gun.
miniseries Paul, he looked like he was in his late 20s.
Observation. This is a great opportunity for slaughter.
So that was kind of a problem. I was like, that's not good. They got the romance with Chani fairly well done. The actor they got for the Emperor was good. They gave Irulan, which is the Emperor's daughter, the Princess Irulan, a much bigger role in the movie, than she did in the original 1984 version. Because in the 84 version, she barely existed, which is good because Irulan is in the books really politically savvy. She's really clever. And so seeing that in the miniseries is really good. I was very happy to see that.
Yeah.
If I was going to have any complaint about the miniseries, how do I want to put this? I feel like the aesthetics, while okay, were not great. They could have. I felt like they could have done better with some of the aesthetics, mostly the technology, because the technology seemed a little too computerized. And in Dune, there was a whole AI rebellion. And so the whole reason why Mentats exist, the human computers, is to make sure that they never have another AI rebellion.
Gotcha.
And that really wasn't covered in the miniseries, even though they had plenty of time to do so. Other than that, I mean, the miniseries, honestly, out of the three, was the best. Then we get to the new ones. All right. I will say the new movies, they nailed aesthetics. Everything looks kind of alien, kind of weird. What are we discussing tonight, Harun? I'm going over one of the movies I've watched recently, which is the Dune ones. Dune Part 1 and Part 2. Earlier, we were discussing RPGs that, we want to try versus RPGs that we thought were shit.
We talked about Mystery Science Theater a little bit.
Yep, a little bit of MSTK. So the new Dune movies, Paul looks spot on. He looks like he's a late teen. So they got a great actor for that. Duncan Idaho was a decent character. They did a good job with him. And that was Jason Momoa.
Yep.
So he did a good job. They wrote out pretty much almost entirely of Thufir Howard. Like, a lot of the things Thufir covers in the movie, Gurney is now doing instead.
Sort of combine their characters.
They sort of combine the characters, and that gives emotional whiplash. Because Thufir is very politically minded, he's very thoughtful, he's very reserved. He is the guy that sits back in the room quietly, watches everything, and then quietly gives his advice when asked.
Right.
All right. Gurney, on the other hand, is very loud, very boisterous, wants to tackle everything head on, and has a little bit of a temper issue. All right. So combining those two characters gives major emotional whiplash. Because it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, they don't seem to be very similar, so I can see why that might be odd.
Yeah. The other thing is, I don't like what they did with Chani. Chani in the books, while she is very hot-headed, she is also clever. She has a level of intelligence to her that comes out in her character. Especially, she is that type that does, like, the quiet power. So, like, she'll whoop someone's ass. But at the same time, she will, if needed, she will basically hold back. And be the more quiet, reserved character. And in the books, she actually takes on an assistant role later on. She starts off as a warrior. And in the books, she becomes one of the assistants to the Reverend Mother. So she goes from a warrior role to a political role.
Gotcha.
Like a political, religious role. In the new movies, that does not happen. What server and data center? I'm in Hyperion, is the server. I forget what the data center for Hyperion is. I feel like you could probably look that up if you wanted.
Will my destroyers make it in time to destroy the asteroid that will wipe out life on Tibby 3?
Find out next week. Cool, I'm on Genova. Is that on the same data center as me, Skills? Checking. Okay, no problem. But no, in the new movie, they made Chani a warrior through and through the whole time. She never changes. And her and Paul are supposed to have kids. And by the end of the second movie, she's not with child.
Yeah.
And she's supposed to have already had kids, according to the books. Like, her kids are supposed to have been... How do I put this? She is supposed to have had already one kid, and that one kid is supposed to have been already killed by the Emperor's followers. That's kind of a thing. And they didn't do that in the story. They ignored the fact that she had a kid. Primal. Oh, that sucks. Oh wait, I want this one. Oh, nope. I got hit there hard. That's not cool. Who did that? Yep. Papa Hollow. So there was that problem, and she was warned in the movie several times, and this happens in the book too. She can never marry Paul. And the reason why she can't marry Paul is for the same reason Jessica could not marry Paul's father. And Jessica is Paul's mother.
Okay.
And that is because they are not noble born, so there always has to be a possibility for nobility to marry nobility.
Gotcha.
For alliance reasons.
Yeah.
And so Chani was warned about this in the movie, like, multiple times. And yet, still at the end of the second movie, she gets lividly pissed off with Paul that he is going to marry Princess Irulan to take control of the Empire. When in the books and in every other movie, she's gone, yeah, I get it. You get to marry him. That's cool. The breeding program BS. Yeah, it's the breeding program BS. But no, like, in the movies and in the books, other than the latest one, she's gone, yeah, I get it, you have to marry her, it's cool. And then she turns to Irulan and goes, you will be his wife in name only. I am everything else that is a wife. Like, man, Chani don't play mince words when she goes after Irulan. Like, she tells Irulan, it's like, he'll never love you, he'll never take you to bed, this will never be a thing. It's like, damn. You got little robots flying around. Uh-oh. Ow! Why did it hit me? Can I hit him yet? Nope. What is going on? Oh, he's reforming. Jesus Christ. Yeah, she had a knife to Irulan's throat and everything. Yeah, Chani had like one of the Chris knives, the worm teeth, right to Irulan's throat and goes, yeah, I will fucking kill you if you step out of line. AP goes, BRB, gotta print something. Okay. But yeah, in the new movie, they really didn't get certain characters right.
Well, maybe they're trying to do something different with it.
Yeah, I get that, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know, it didn't feel right to me. I didn't particularly enjoy it, but that's just my personal taste.
Right.
I'm not saying the new Dune movies are bad. I'm just like, I like the miniseries honestly better.
Fair.
For one, we had more time to work with the characters. So there was a lot more character growth, character exploration. But also at the same time, the miniseries... Oh yeah, I forgot to mention the other thing the new movies did. The Emperor was a joke. It was Christopher Walken. And you can tell he was phoning in his performance. Like, he did not do a good job.
Might just be that he's pretty damn old at this point.
Yeah, that was my thought too. It's like, I get that the Emperor is supposed to be an older gentleman, but there's a limit to how old you should go. Because Walken did not do a good job as the Emperor. He seemed more like a petulant child. Fade Routha was pretty good in the new movie. Him and in the miniseries were both pretty good. Sting did an okay job portraying Fade Routha as crazy, but not tactical. Where the miniseries got the tactics of Fade Routha right, but not the crazy. The new movie got them both fairly well.
Oh, that's good.
The Emperor, not the Emperor, the Baron Vladimir Harkonnen, he did a pretty good job in the new one too. I would not say he was good as the miniseries guy, but the miniseries guy also had more screen time. So, there is that. The new movie Raban did a pretty good job. I liked the new Leto the best. Nothing against, I think, what was his name? Kevin Hurt? David Hurt? Whatever the fuck his name is. Miniseries.
John Hurt?
John Hurt, is that it?
I don't know. That's the actor I know whose last name is
William Hurt.
Okay.
It's William Hurt.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I do know William Hurt.
Yeah, he was Leto in the miniseries.
Okay.
And he didn't do a bad job, but the new guy just... He feels like Leto. Whoever they got for the new movie, he did Leto really well.
Okay.
He nailed that one. Jessica was a joke. Because she portrayed herself as a fearful woman the whole time. With little bursts of spine. And that annoyed the crap out of me because Jessica was always known as a very mentally strong character. Like, there is a scene where she is supposed to break down and bawl out her eyes and stuff, and that's when she finds out her husband is, or I wouldn't say husband, her lover is dead. And that is understandable. But at the same time, like, that's a good scene to have her break down, and the miniseries did it well. But after that, she is supposed to steel herself because she had all that training to mentally control herself and get shit done so that way Paul survives. And oh boy, did they fuck that up in the new movie. It's like, god damn it. Basically, I feel like with the new movie, they didn't do any of the female characters any favors.
Okay.
None of them really stood out as decently written characters. So there was that. Turning Layet Kynes, the planetologist, from a male to a female, I have no problems with, because in the books it never mentions the person's gender. They're always referred to as the planetologist or Lord Planetologist, and in Dune, Lord can apply to both either male or woman, depending on your job. Like, if you're one of the noble houses, it'll be Lord or Lady. But if you work for the Emperor, you're always referred to as Lord because you are an extension of him.
Uh-huh.
So, in the books, they never brought up their gender. It never comes up. So, like, so many people losing their minds, like, oh God, you know, Liet Kynes is a woman now. And I'm like, yeah, who cares? The books say nothing about that. Chill the fuck out.
Mm-hmm.
So there is that. For battles, because remember, there's always a final battle in Dune against Paul and the Emperor and all of his buddies. Honestly, the miniseries did it best. Second was the new movie. Third was the 1984 version. And that's mostly due to a limitation of the technology.
Right on.
So, there is that. Don't get me wrong, the final battle in the new movie is decent. It's nice. It has some good tactics and stuff like that. But they did cut out one of the lines that was my favorite line from both the movie and the miniseries. That was just a funny haha line that wasn't in the books, but it was still hilarious.
I see.
And that was, they're talking about invading, you know, the capital city of Arakeen, and they're like going, okay, what are we doing, so on and so forth. And Paul turns to Gurney and goes, are the atomics ready, so on and so forth. Gurney goes, yeah, the atomics are ready, we can, you know, break open the shield wall any time. And then Paul will turn to Stilgar and go, Stilgar, do we have worm sign? And in both like the old movie and the miniseries, Stilgar will chuckle a bit and then turn and look at Paul and go, also, we have the likes of worm sign that we have worm sign the likes of which even God has ever seen.
Yeah.
And then usually the next scene you see is like a couple dozen, if not 100 worms just kind of hanging out.
Right.
In the desert waiting for dinner time, essentially. And it's like, oh boy, that's scary. Yeah. The worm sign line is just a funny line they could have honestly left. Mm-hmm. It would have made it better. Oh, apparently I got Mog's attention. Okay, the warrior keeps taunting the Bob away from me. Which is funny because I have yet to use taunt once. And I'm still holding aggro on the boss.
Huh.
Which means they are even... Yeah, no, they have their tank stance on. So they're just doing that shitty of a job. Because if they taunt off of me, they should keep it. They shouldn't be able to... I shouldn't be able to pull it back immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And if he wanted aggro, I'd be more than happy to let him have it. I have no problem being the off tank. Fighting Muggle. And your woman! Your woman's here. Hey, what? Be on the person. Be on the person. There you go.
Alright, let's see. Do I have a construction ship nearby? I do. Go research.
Nintendo Direct is going to be in June of 2024. Cool. So, Ruby, gotta ask your opinion because we seem to talk about it. What are your thoughts on lineup for the game announcements? Are you talking about for the Nintendo ones? Because I haven't been keeping up with Nintendo. The games I'm excited about coming out soon are Dawn Trail. I'm very excited for that. I'm gonna have a blast with that one. Alright. There we go. Gamera, are there any games that really hit you?
Oh, I'm trying to think what I've heard about that's coming out recently. I'm not really up on, like you said, the Nintendo releases specifically. I'm looking forward to the final release of Hades 2. I've really been playing the hell out of that.
All right, let's see. My Opera GX gives me a release calendar.
Mm-hmm.
So give me a second. I'm actually looking that up right now. Questmaster, Lesson Learned, Rate Your Gear, Scholar's Mate. Never heard of that. Soul Mask. Killer Clowns from Outer Space, the game, The Final Shape, Ancients, Renown. Haven't heard of any of these. Jesus Christ. Blockbuster, Autopsy Simulator, Chernobyl Liquidators, Sunnyside, Monster Hunter Stories, Tensei 5 Remake, Thalassia Edge of the Abyss, Still Waters Run Deep. There's a Monkey Ball game, okay, Luigi's Mansion 2, Demon Slayer the game, Princess Maker 2 Regeneration, really? Okay. World of Goo. I don't even know what that one is because it's all in Japanese. I can't read it. I sent you a link to the site I just found. Okay, give me a second. Alright, let's see what we got here. So Metroid Prime 4. Okay, Paper Mario 1000 Years Door, Luigi Mansion 2, Pokemon Legends, Professor Layton, Metroid Prime 4. None of these really hit me hard. Like,
Yeah.
they are all decent games, but they're not like, oh my god, I have to play these. So, I'm not overly impressed, I would say. I'll have to look over PC games later just to see if there's any PCs that are coming soon.
Oh, looks like we're about ready to wrap up.
Yeah, we're about to wrap up, actually. I'm getting the messages out right now. So if you are one of my many tavern visitors, please use that raid message. If you are one of my tavern patrons, please use that raid message. I just want to get your opinion. I really don't have an opinion on any of those games because I have never played any of those games. I've never played the Luigi Mansion games. I haven't played Metroid Prime. And the rest of them I've never touched. Either.
Yeah, I've played a tiny bit of Luigi's Mansion, a tiny bit of Metroid Prime. I'm not really a fan of the Metroid Prime series, but I'm glad that they're finally getting their long-awaited game. I know that this one's been eagerly anticipated, so yay.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, nothing on that list that I think is gonna
Ring your bell.
forward. Yeah.
Yeah, it is what it is. Alright, so everybody, please make sure you take care of yourselves, mentally and physically. That's always important. You caught me when I was taking a breath in. Alright. Tomorrow I'll be playing Baldur's Gate 3, hopefully. If not, and for example, my Baldur's Gate companion doesn't show up for whatever reason, because, you know, he has some things going on, I will be playing more Final Fantasy XIV tomorrow, as Wildcard Wednesday, just to have that taken care of. So I appreciate that. And I know you guys come to my wonderful, resplendent tavern for the witty banter, but you stay for my fuck-ups. Alright? So you guys have a great night, and stick around for the raid. We're raiding someone named Paige Heather, and she's playing Animal Crossing New Horizons. Faye goes, fingers crossed I escaped the zoo again. Yes! Hopefully you escaped that zoo. Alright, toodles!
Toodles.